20 years in prison for a crime he did not commit.
Imagine the crushing blow when the judge says, you know what, DNA doesn't matter.
She was shot in the eye.
Shot in the face in a parking lot. That was the unfortunate fate of Donna Brown. This resulted in a questionable investigation that convicted Devonia Inman, a man with a troubled past. It took 23 long years of persistent re-examination of the case before Donna Brown's real murderer was revealed. It was September 19, 1998, past midnight in Adel, Georgia. Donna Brown, a new manager at a Taco Bell branch, was closing up. Struggling with employee time cards, Donna urged her teenage co-workers, Robin Carter and Larisha Chapman, to head home, assuring them she'd call the police for her late-night bank deposit. Carter left first, and shortly before 1 a.m., Chapman's boyfriend arrived and she departed. Donna clocked out at 1:52 a.m. However, she never arrived home. After 12 minutes, the Adel police received a call from customers at the nearby Huddle House restaurant that was still open that night. They called in because they saw a person lying in front of the Taco Bell branch parking lot, assuming it was someone who passed out from drunkenness. But when the police dispatch arrived, they were shocked by what they discovered. It was the lifeless body of Donna, lying in the middle of the empty parking lot. She laid on her back, her arms splayed out to each side on the cold pavement, her head skewed to the side, along with her wavy hair, which had been soaked in blood. There was a bullet hole through her right eye. Immediately, the police knew they were dealing with a murder case and quickly began their investigation. The police found plant debris on Donna's pants that matched the weeds along the parking lot's edge. In one area, these weeds were flattened, suggesting that the killer had hidden in the bushes before attacking Donna. The medical examiner was able to identify abrasions on Donna's hand and left knee. These suggested that Donna fell, likely surprised by her attacker, and tried to brace her fall. Unfortunately, the rural Adel police force was not adequately prepared to handle murder investigations, even though they had a full-time detective. Thus, Donna's case was handed over to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, or GBI, which had more extensive resources for such cases. Jamie Steinberg was the agent assigned to the investigation. Steinberg, accompanied by the GBI crime scene unit, arrived at the scene around 3:30 a.m. They quickly discovered that both the bank deposit and Donna's black 1995 Chevrolet Monte Carlo were missing. The car was soon located in the parking lot of an abandoned Pizza Hut across the interstate overpass. Despite multiple reports from the Adel News Tribune claiming the recovery of the deposit bag, neither the bag nor the money was ever found. Donna's car keys were found stuck between the driver's seat and the car door, and her purse was located in the trunk. Investigators also found a pink bath towel on the ground next to the car. They collected several fingerprints and palm prints, tire tracks, and a shoe print near the deserted car in the parking lot. Despite everything they found, the investigators handling the case made illogical decisions that would lead to a terrible injustice. For some reason, the investigators didn't pay attention to the makeshift ski mask draped on the passenger seat of Donna's car. One of her family members brought it in only 2 weeks later. The GBI wrote a 1,000-page report on the murder case, which they claimed was exhaustive, but in reality, it was filled with leads that never received a follow-through. Instead, the authorities tried matching the finger and palm prints to several random people, which didn't really give them a definitive conclusion. The Adel police detective, Jimmy Hill, joined in on Steinberg's case and turned to one random man who had just arrived in town. He was Devonia Inman, a 20-year-old who had recent run-ins with the police. Devonia was born near the future site of the Taco Bell branch and moved to California with his military dad as a child. After his parents' divorce, he stayed with his mom in California while his abusive dad went back to Adel and eventually ended up in jail. As a teenager, Devonia got into legal trouble, including arrests for armed robbery and car theft, along with accusations of domestic abuse. Despite his volatile temper, Devonia wasn't seen as a serious threat by those who knew him. His then-girlfriend, Christy Lima, even claimed that she was usually the violent one during their fights. Devonia faced problems in Adel as well. In 1995, he fathered a child, and despite the mother's objections, showed up at the hospital. This led to a warrant being issued against him, and the Cook County prosecutor charged him with making terroristic threats and acts. As a result, he received a 10-year probation sentence, which he violated by returning to California. In 1998, Devonia was sent back to Adel by his mother, where he once again found himself in a heap of trouble. Devonia was implicated in Donna Brown's murder by Zachary Payne, a drug dealer. Zachary claimed Devonia had threatened him with a gun in an altercation, implicating he was very capable of committing the murder. Investigators then interviewed Devonia's girlfriend, Christy Lima, who verified that Devonia was with her during the night of the murder, but also revealed that he had once hidden a gun. A contradicting account came from Lima's sister, Marquetta Thomas, now Q, who reported Devonia's plans to commit robberies and suggested he was away on the night of the crime. While Devonia was jailed for probation violation, investigators collected significant evidence against him, coming from two witnesses. Larisha Chapman, a 16-year-old and Donna's coworker, initially stated that she noticed nothing unusual on the night of the murder. However, she later changed this, claiming to have heard Devonia's voice near the crime scene. Virginia Tatum, a newspaper carrier, identified Devonia as the driver of a car similar to Donna's, speeding toward the parking lot where it was later found. This was quite questionable though, as it would have been highly unlikely she'd see and hear everything in the area where she claimed she stood that night. Furthermore, she only went forward with the information a month later, and after a $5,000 reward was presented in the Adel News Tribune for information. The witness that would provide pivotal evidence was Kwame Spaulding, an inmate who had been previously locked up with Devonia. In January 1999, he went forward to the GBI and claimed Devonia had confessed to him about killing Donna. Still, most of his statements were public information, like the details about the deposit bag being left in Donna's car. He only shared this information after the prosecutors assured him they would explore options to lessen his time. Despite significant doubts over these testimonies and possible leads indicating another suspect, Hercules Brown, the GBI seemed to overlook these inconsistencies. Allegations against Hercules, including claims of him admitting to planning a robbery and alleged links to other murders, were never seriously investigated. He even previously worked in the same Taco Bell branch. The prosecutor even claimed there was not one scintilla of evidence connecting Hercules to the robbery and killing. On June 25, 2001, Devonia was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. From 2001 to 2010, Devonia remained in prison. In 2010, the makeshift ski mask was presented as evidence once again, thanks to Devonia's legal team, the Georgia Innocence Project, and Jess Sino, professor at Georgia State University's law school. DNA testing of the mask was granted, and GBI identified Hercules Brown's DNA profile. Still, when a motion for a new trial based on the test results was presented in 2014, it was denied by the court. Eventually, Devonia's legal team found that Hercules was arrested and sentenced to life due to an armed robbery that left 2 people dead, only months after Devonia's arrest. They also found a report of the police discovering a homemade ski mask from Hercules' possession similar to the one found in Donna's car, but for some reason, this information was withheld in Devonia's trial. Furthermore, the statements from Thomas and Chapman that implicated Devonia were recanted. The two claimed they were pressured by the police and that their statements were false. Years of legal battles followed, but it wasn't until November 2021 that significant progress was made. Judge Christina Graham ordered a new trial, pointing out the state's misconduct and poor defense representation as the reasons for declaring Devonia's 2001 conviction unconstitutional. She highlighted the prosecution's negligence in not sharing Hercules' arrest reports, which Devonia's original defense lawyer, Melinda Riles, knew about but never disclosed. Judge Graham stated that Devonia's trial was not fair and its results were unreliable. The case went back to a higher court, and charges against Devonia were dropped. In the end, after enduring 23 long years of wrongful imprisonment, Devonia was finally set free. Devonia's wrongful imprisonment brought immense injustice to two innocent people and their families. Despite not being able to regain the time he lost, Devonia looks forward to finally spending time with his family. Meanwhile, Hercules Brown is still serving his sentence. Donna's family members finally have closure more than 20 years after her innocent life was taken away. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications by activating the bell icon. By doing so, you'll never miss out on new content, and it really helps us make these videos. So, like, subscribe, and activate the bell. We appreciate your support.